guests and fellow Hilltoppers. Yeah.
We call to order.
Nope, not
No.
yet. I'm
Okay.
waiting for the signal that we're live.
Thank you. Good.
Good. Okay. My name is Victoria Bates, I'm the chair, and I'm calling this meeting to order for September the third, yes, 6:30 p.m. Secretary, please take the roll.
Sure. Chair Bates Bryan,
Here.
Treasurer Smith,
Here.
Secretary Archer is present, and starting with Commissioner Wenning.
Here.
Commissioner Moore,
Present, sir.
Commissioner Kepler,
Here.
Commissioner White,
Here.
Commissioner Bates,
Here.
Commissioner Stryker,
Here.
Commissioner Keflaya.
Here.
Commissioner Coach Neal,
Present.
and Commissioner Maddox.
Here.
And Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner Vice Chair Fagan is absent, quorum met 14.
Okay, great. So moving along, there's going to be some additions and deletions to the agenda items. Number one, we're going to remove Ponce Park under presentations. Bear with me, there's a couple. Two, the second one is going to be adding Rebecca Hunley from Franklinton and Marianne Lupo from Highland West Civic Association and Hilltop to the presentation list.
Oh, yeah.
We get, am I good? Yeah, let me go. Okay. And we're going to remove the zoning application CV 24-058. So we only have two zoning acts to review tonight. Let me make sure that's all the changes, additions, and removals. I do believe so. Thank you. So the minutes, we will all receive the minutes. When did we receive the minutes? Like a month and a half ago? Yeah, a month and a half ago. Hopefully everybody remembers and has read them. Is there any corrections to the minutes?
I did not receive it either.
You didn't receive it either? Right. With no corrections, I motion that the minutes be approved as distributed via email.
Second.
So moved. Okay, moving along, maybe this would be a short meeting. I don't know. City of Columbus staff reports, is Mr., oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, I'm looking at the old one. Division of Police, I don't think Sergeant Brophy is here. Nope, okay. Is there anyone in this stead from the Division of Police? Okay. City Attorney's Office. Welcome.
Everybody. So if I'm not mistaken, I think Sergeant Brophy is out on leave
Okay,
for another couple weeks.
Okay.
So, hopefully we have somebody from the Division of Police next month's meeting for sure, one way or another. Just quick updates on a couple properties. I'm Rob Dorson, that's on the City Attorney's Office. It's been a couple months, so frankly, I don't recall exactly what I updated you all on in July. So I hope neither of these are repeats. Last week, we conducted, it's called a nuisance abatement group, liquor nuisance abatement group inspection at the Safeway Mini Mart at 2585 West Broad Street. So it's a team inspection by various city agencies, as well as the Ohio Investigative Unit and the State Department of Public Safety, Ohio Homeland Security, folks from the state to inspect the liquor violations. Safeway Mini Mart is under an agreed order from December of 2022 to refrain from having any violations of city tobacco regulations, refrain from selling drug paraphernalia, and ensure that they are not selling counterfeit goods. Unfortunately, as a result of that inspection, we did file a motion for contempt against Safeway Mini Mart today. That compliance inspection was based on a community tip, did reveal very large number.
Just so the viewing audience.
Absolutely. Check.
Thank you.
How about that? There we go.
Yes.
Did reveal a large number of violations that the city's ban on sale of flavored tobacco and flavored nicotine products. So drug paraphernalia was for sale, as well as some apparent counterfeit goods. Including an Ohio State T-shirt that said Ohio State Grace instead of Buckeyes. So we have filed a motion for contempt in that case, and we'll ask the judge to set it for a contempt hearing. Additionally, next week, I have a preliminary injunction hearing on 635 to 641 Racine Avenue. This is a 4-unit building. That again was investigated based on a community tip that I received this summer. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office conducted a search warrant, found drugs. There's been a number of drug complaints at this property over the years, and it was the site of a homicide that's going back to December of 2020. And that's a direct result of community tip. We set for preliminary injunction hearing next week. We'll be asking the owners to undertake some litigation, so hopefully these issues don't repeat. With that, I'm happy to take any other questions the chair would like to.
So, do you have any statistics on like how many properties in the Hilltop you have like under abatement? And then like what the remedy is once they are kind of abated? I just was driving around on the south side of Sullivan, and it seemed like there's a lot of homes on that side that have been either abated in recent past, but then some of them look like they're abandoned now. So I just didn't know if the city's office is actively working on getting those into new ownership, or ensuring that those don't become homes that end up catching on fire for whatever reason. I know that we've had like 2 within like the last 2 months that were kind of serious. So if you could speak on to what the attorney's office is doing when it comes to abated properties and like making sure those aren't neglected and boarded up for an extended period of time.
Yeah, so first of all, if you have specific properties in mind, I strongly encourage you to email me if you want specific data on overall abated cases for police zone 3, the Hilltop code enforcement supervision area, what have you. You know, we can get you that information. I can certainly think of a couple fire damaged buildings. Don't remember addresses off the top of my head, but that we have in court right now for having unsafe building orders. So, you know, it's a broad question, and if you have want specifics about different property, what I would say is it varies by the type of property. Both public safety, drug related, liquor violation related stuff, and code enforcement stuff all falls under the umbrella of nuisance abatement. And I want to give you a direct answer to your question, but there's very different answers depending on what you have in mind. So I didn't know if you can follow.
Well, do you also work with the land bank at all for a property that's changed out of hands from the land bank to like a private owner that's still boarded up? Because I know that they have specific requirements of getting them renovated or replaced. And I know one specifically that's been boarded up by the land bank for the past 5 years, but it's no longer like offered up for sale on their website.
Send me that address. I'd like to follow up on it specifically. I have a good relationship in terms of at least back and forth over email with the folks at the land bank. The best way that I know how to answer your question is that everything that code enforcement does, that's all complaint driven. So it starts with a 311 complaint. there's a select small group, and I've talked about at least one owner who's affected by this in the past, but a relatively limited group of properties and property owners who are handled by a proactive code enforcement team, or PACE. But 311 complaints, PACE, those are where code cases originate from. So no matter a property's history with the land bank, if you have concerns about it, certainly for you all, email me. Anything else?
There's one from the audience.
Yes, sir.
Is there a time frame if you move forward with a home that's been boarded up for, let's say, 10 years? And it's still a nuisance?
Varies by the circumstances. Again, if you have one in mind, report it to 311. I neglected to bring any business cards with me tonight, but I will certainly give you my email address here if you want. But it just varies depending on the circumstances, and there's an infinite array of scenarios that could affect the timeline of when a property gets to court. If something has an unsafe building order, I would say generally, and this is usually fire damaged buildings, buildings that have been struck by vehicles, buildings where there's been some major event where it's very apparent to the city that the building may be structurally unsafe and the building department needs to go inspect it. The building department does try to handle a lot administratively before it gets to court. But they supervise those properties pretty intensely. Sometimes for an extended period of time, as long as the repairs take, if they're moving at a steady pace, that property may not get to court. On the other hand, if it's just vacant abandoned property, make a 311 complaint, code enforcement goes and investigates. Code enforcement will also give folks a notice period. I will generally send folks a warning letter before files a strong default, before we file a lawsuit saying, you know, if you correct this within a couple of months, you may be avoid having to go to court. But from the moment the 311 complaint happens, we'll continue to monitor those properties and something. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you. So up next is this City Council Division of Community Engagement, Jocelyn Cortez Martinez. I had the opportunity to meet with her a few weeks ago. She's our new Division of Community Engagement liaison, our legislative analyst.
Hello.
Is it on?
Hello.
There you go.
Nice. Hello, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Jocelyn Martinez Cortez. I am your new person over on Council's Community Engagement Team. Super excited to join you all. I am from the West Side, plus like also Mexico, but you know how it is. So I'm super excited to join you all. Some things that I wanted to share is that council is back in session this upcoming Monday at 5 p.m. with the council zoning meeting following after. An additional thing that I wanted to shout out here too is that the for Latina Heritage Month, the City Hall will have like an illumination ceremony following both of these meetings on Monday. Another thing to call out is the Playbook Columbus survey that Columbus Recreation and Parks is having. Did have an extension. It was originally, I believe, September 9th, but now it's extended through the end of September. So if you would like that QR code to fill out that survey, please let me know. I have tons of flyers. And then additionally, next week, September 8th through the 14th, Council Member Remy is hosting a Public Safety Week once again. And it is a little ways away from us right here, but they include some really wonderful events for, you know, both families and individuals, some really great opportunities. So if you would like any information about that, I do have this neat little handout. And then the Latina Heritage Month Parade will be September 14th as well. And we might be having a few more events following this month, for Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And I believe that is all. Thank you.
Can you share, she's replacing Corey. Can you share where he's gone?
Yes, so he has just gone over to Councilmember Remi's office, so he's still, just down the hall. But definitely still available if you need something from him, but if there was anything that you were waiting to do with him in regards of, your commission, please let me know and I can collaborate with him to make sure that we can get everything sorted out and transitioned over. Cool, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Olabisi Eddie, who is our West Side Neighborhood Liaison.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I apologize for being a few minutes late today. I have a few announcements. First, on the 14th of this month from 9 to noon, is the Neighborhood Best Practices Conference. I have sent it out in the West Side Bulletin previously, and I have flyers that I'll pass out momentarily. If you haven't had the opportunity to register for it, please do so as soon as possible. Spots are running out. We have a really great lineup of speakers and presenters, and we hope that you can be a part of it this year. Have a big update concerning fiscal. We are in the process of creating Staples accounts for each area commission. So that will turn ordering most items that area commissions request back to you. Because alongside that, P cards are now available. So the liaisons, myself, along with the treasurer, will work together to place those orders. Majority of the items available for you to order on staples.com will have a 24-hour shipping window. All items will ship to the Pride Center, but 1410 Cleveland Avenue, the main office for Department of Neighborhoods, and we will arrange final drop off from there. So this will include printing, marketing, signage, marketing materials, office supplies, and all the like. So we are in the final stages of getting that set up, but those accounts should be available to you by this time next month. In addition to that, each area commission has been allotted $1,000 additionally for up to 2 events for catering. So that does include water. We'll need at least 1 month to get bids and all the necessary signatures to process everything. And the caterer must be a city vendor. And if you use a nonprofit caterer, you will not need to go through the 3-bid process that you normally would for for-profit vendors. Jocelyn had already mentioned the Parks and Rec survey. And there's only one other announcement I have. And actually, I may ask Chair Fry to assist me with this.
Oh, interesting.
It's for Children's Hospital. They're needing help in, I think there's a virtual community forum for a study that's coming to the West Side called the Massive Transfusion in Children. So this is a study that's going to be taking place in the emergency room. So basically, I'm just gonna read from the flyer if you don't mind, just so I don't, give any misinformation. So bleeding is the most common cause of preventable death after injury in children. There have been no large studies to guide doctors on how to best care for children when life-threatening bleeding from trauma occurs. So we're taking part, we as in Nationwide Children's Hospital, is taking part in a national study to see what combination of treatments given soon after arrival in the emergency department can improve survival. The treatments include blood products and a medication that can help with clots. So they're having a virtual community forum to discuss this new trial. So more information on the study will be available via the flyer. And with that virtual community discussion, you'll have a chance to speak with the physician that's leading the trial, ask any questions and learn about the other trauma research. So those are all I have. I will pass these around. I will also pass the neighborhood's best practices flyer around. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I'm gonna add to that, to what she just talked about.
Okay.
Did you have a question about that?
No.
Oh, okay, go ahead, right here.
So is Staples going to replace any city printing that we've been doing when it comes to our marketing material? Or is it still preferred to use the city or preferred to use the Staples?
So that's to be determined as to whether you'll still get free printing after the end of this year. But as of now, the free printing from the city is still available to you.
Okay, so, go ahead, no, go, because I'm gonna go back to the
Oh,
study.
okay. And I sent you that email this morning. I was wondering, one of the things I've been hearing from a lot of neighbors is they've been putting requests in on 311 and have not been having response for weeks and weeks and weeks and still haven't had responses, things especially around street lights not being activated in the neighborhood. I'm wondering, is 311, I know there's been the city computer issues. I'm wondering, has that impacted 311 and the ability for those requests to get divvied out to the right departments?
So we are still facing some ongoing technical challenges due to the ongoing outage. However, 311 is mostly operational. So a lot of those issues lie within the departments themselves that a lot of those complaints are being routed to. So you had mentioned streetlights as being one of the primary areas of concern. So I can reach out to the Department of Public Utilities just to see, what their current status is, like, whether, they're behind or their systems are impacted in a way that, it's backing up their service calls. So I'm more than happy to do a deep search into that.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions for me?
Anything from the audience? So I'm going to add a minute or two to this study that's the massive transfusion in children study. I was on a virtual call with Oli BCNI and the study team because I want to know more about this study. I'm an affected family member of sickle cell. We participate in lots and lots and lots of studies, blood studies, transfusions, those type of things, my entire life. So I wanted to know more. And so this study, just so you know, I think it's going to be very, very important for our residents, especially our residents, to go and read up on this. It's really, and it's around children, as Olabisi said, trying to find ways in which to stop bleeding. Okay. And it will be, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. So it will be around finding ways, and it's not tourniquets, it's not any of that kind of thing. And the FDA is part of this. This is a national study. And it has to do with when children are affected by trauma. So it is shootings. This is exactly what they told me, shootings, car accidents, things to that nature, right? And so it's already approved, it's happening, it's gonna happen. It's not like they're waiting for us to say, yes, it's happening. Their sole purpose is to inform the communities. And they chose to do that through the commission and some other organizations. And as I said to them, like, you can come to this commission meeting, this is our full commission meeting, and speak to us regarding that. But they needed to get their reports and numbers of who they talked to out. What I will add is that we are having something in October, the commission. And it's a forum, and it's an informational forum around that made me like we're talking about trauma, and that came right. It's going to be around the levies, right? And it's not going to be anything That is why you should vote for it or against it. It's just information, because I do believe information is power. And that people understand what is going to be on the ballot. So that is going to be in October. I was going to save that for my updates, but I'll tell you now, October the 10th. After that, I invited this group to come and speak to residents that are at the forum. Okay, because I do believe they should go in front of community and inform community exactly what that's going to be. So if there's a child that comes through Nationwide Children's Hospital in the emergency room, they will be part of this study.
How to walk in situation.
If there's a trauma, right? So I asked them in regarding, the diversity of that. They're just bringing them in, right? So we know, that there's certain populations, especially on the west side, that are, affected by traumas to that nature, right? So, just making sure that it's safe and that the public knows and parents know, because they don't have to ask you. It just happens, okay? I think it's a good thing to be able to find ways in which to do that as opposed to waiting. It's all about the emergency of it, being able to find a way to stop bleeding. So I get that. But I also think that the residents need to know that if your kid goes in there, it's all about children, that they will be part of the study. Okay, so I would encourage you to go use this, go to the website, read up all about it. If you have questions, send the questions. Again, the representatives will be here in October. And they can answer any questions that you have.
Sorry, I forgot one last update. This is on behalf of DPU. Just quick question, have they come previously to discuss the lead service line replacement ordinance? No. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Yeah.
Not this,
Yeah, I've heard of it.
I've heard of
Heard about
I've
it?
not never heard conference slash.
Ah,
Not in front of the full commission.
okay, not in front of the full commission. Okay, I wanted to share this information with you quickly. So the lead service line replacement ordinance passed back in July. So that created, the lead service line replacement program, where basically all lead and galvanized piping or water service lines, it declared all of them a public nuisance. So right now, as part of that, the Department of Public Utilities is going through and trying to identify all service lines throughout their service area to determine which lines need to be replaced. And once they do that, they're running this pilot program now, which will last about a year. Well, they will go and they will replace the existing fixtures with copper. So this actually there's a map here highlighting all the areas with high concentrations of lead piping. Of course, the west side is highlighted as part of that. So just something that you may need to know about, maybe coming to your neighborhood soon. I will pass out some information regarding that, and that is my final update. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question about that real quick. Are they just doing the main service lines that run down, or the offshoots that go into each individual property?
Not the offshoots that go into property, just to the meter.
Okay.
But yeah, so since it declares all lead and galvanized pipe as a nuisance, if you have work done on your home, lead cannot be replaced with lead.
Right.
So.
Any other questions from commissioners or our audience? No? Okay, moving forward. Nick Plow or the representative?
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Dr. Kevin Orr, and I'm the pastor at Glenwood United Methodist Church. I serve as the co-chair of the Envision Hilltop Advisory Team. Nick is out of town. So I just have one really quick update to share. The next Envision Hilltop Advisory Committee meeting is coming up on Tuesday, September the 10th. So that's next Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. It's going to be, where is it going to be? That's right, the Third Way Collaborative, so the former Third Way Cafe across the street. Meals are going to be provided. So if you are interested in attending, if you could let me know, since Nick isn't gonna be back in the office until the 8th. If you can, those of you that are here, if you wanna go to that, just let me know, and I'll make sure that we've got some food for you. There'll be a couple of presentations. Zirka Abid is gonna give a presentation on what's been going on at My Project USA. And then Ibrahim Asau from United Way is gonna be talking about success by 3rd grade, their initiative that they've been focusing on over at Highland Elementary School. And then all the different subcommittee chairs will give updates on what they've been up to. So it's a great opportunity to kind of hear about what's going on, to share your ideas. And for those who do not know what the Envision Hilltop is, Envision Hilltop was a community plan that was put together, facilitated by the city of Columbus back in 2019. 2018, 2019 was launched in January of 2020, and then we had COVID. So we kind of set us back as far as trying to get that plan implemented. But since then, a lot has happened in the plan. We've got an advisory team that's working on trying to implement the goals that were set by the community. It's a living document, and we're always looking to get more input from the community to make sure that what we talked about back then is still relevant today. So it's a living, breathing plan. It's happening. It's not sitting on the shelf collecting dust. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Reverend, Dr. Orr, do you
Yes.
have a phone number or email that people? can for the
Why
audience?
don't you, yes, let's see. I'm trying to think. Let's go with my email address. It's a little long. It's REVKEVINWORD@gmail.com. So it reads Rev Kevin or Glenwood UMC@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Yes. Gotcha.
Okay. Are there any announcements from commissioners?
Hi, everyone. An announcement on behalf of Leah and Zach. If you haven't heard, the Franklinton versus Hilltop charity softball game is back for its, I believe, 3rd year. So it will be held on Saturday, October 19th at 10 a.m. So a little bit later this year. Hopefully it'll be much cooler than it has been in the past. It will be held in Franklinton this year at the Gladden Sports Complex that the youth sports use, which is kind of like on the border of Franklinton and Hilltop. If you're interested in playing either for Franklinton or Hilltop, you can sign up using a Google form that you can find on our Facebook. If you also would like to vote for a charity for either Franklinton or Hilltop, you can also do that on the form. So the form, you can sign up to play or vote for a charity. The winners will be announced later this month. And so the way it works is 75% of the money raised goes to the winning team, and then 25% goes to the losing team. So I believe Hilltop lost last year, so we're hoping to win it again this year. So if anyone's interested in playing or helping out in any way, you can find it on our Facebook page.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Jared, too. Hi, everyone, Joe Ardura. Highland Youth Garden is dedicating, or I'm sorry, their groundbreaking ceremony for the new natural playground will be 2 Thursdays from now, Thursday, September 12th at 9:45 a.m. At 106 South Wheatland. They have new property across the street that will become a new natural playground space. And so any community members who are interested in the groundbreaking ceremony is invited to attend. That's again Thursday, September 12th at 9:45 at 106 South Wheatland. And then also coming up is the Rise Up C-Bus event at Eakin Elementary. That's on September 19th. Is that also Tuesday? Well, it's a Thursday. Well, yeah. From 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. Rise Up C-Bus at Eakin Elementary on September 19th at 4:30 p.m.
Thank you. Any others? Yes.
Quick announcement.
myself and at least 4 other houses in Wilshire Heights are gonna have kind of a joint garage sale on Saturday, the 7th. So it'll be at different people's houses, but just so everyone's aware, if you are looking for garage sales this Saturday, Wilshire Heights, which is just over here south of Solden.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any other announcements from commissioners? No, I'd like to announce that recreations and parks is the session, fall session is getting ready to start. There's all kind of classes, very reasonable. Arts classes, piano classes. We have several rec centers here on the hilltop. There's fitness classes, there's yoga. And so it'll be a good opportunity if you want to take part in that, to check that out. I think signups are happening now. So very great opportunity for community, so. Are there any announcements from our audience? Yes, sir.
My name is Ivory Shortfield. Y'all may know Siobhan Jones. She is my colleague with the Office of Violence Prevention. She is out till December. Good thing. She's
Okay.
getting her master's. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so so
Congratulations.
she took a break so she can get that education, come back even more educated.
Yeah.
So she was already smart, but
Mhm.
probably the smartest person in the office. But I am the North Side community relations coordinator. I'm pretty familiar with I sit on the board with the One Linden plan, so really good plan up there, doing good things up there. But I came today because we're doing a community buyback. We did one last year that was very successful. Gave out about 135,000 gift cards to, I want to say 344 guns off the street.
I'm sorry, can you say those again, just for our notes here?
Said it,
2023, you gave away
$135,000 worth of gift cards. And took in about 344 total guns.
Okay, thank you.
I would say 201 of those guns were handguns. So it was a pretty significant buyback. We're doing it again, September 14th. This year it's going to be at Franklin University's parking lot behind Phillips Hall. So I have some flyers. I have 2 flyers, just an actual flyer, and then I have a flyer with how to transport those firearms. So just
If you could set some on that table over there for the audience as well,
Gotcha.
that would be great. I mean, you could do that if you want to.
you know what, I'll just set them both.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, then I'll pass this along so y'all can look at that.
okay.
There you go. Yeah, come on through. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We extended it an hour from last year. Last year was only 3 hours and we had a line down the road, so we learned our lesson. So this year we're adding an extra hour. And we got over $100,000 worth of gift cards to give out. So as far as the prices of the guns, we will not be releasing that until the day of. And that's just to prevent any private buyers for trying to one up us and prepare. So and that happens. They tried to do it last year. And just like last year, I like to see them try because we offered pretty good prices last year. So yeah, if you know anyone that has a gun and doesn't need one, well, we found a lot of times that, like, you know, family members that have passed away and that had guns and they don't know what to do with them. This is the perfect place to get rid of them. So come through September 14th. It's a collaboration with us and CPD.
Are there any questions from commissioners? Okay, I think you had your hand up first.
It appears that it's a drive-through, so you
Yeah.
stay in your car and.
Yeah, so it's a drive-through. This year we prepared, so we'll have porta potties. So if you have to use the restroom, you can pull off, use the restroom, but once you enter the parking lot, you cannot get out your car.
Okay, well, Ashley was next.
If we want to contact you in Siobhan's absence, is this the best email?
No, but we monitor, you know what, email that, I don't have any, I have my electronic card.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can take that or you just email that and they'll forward it to me.
Okay, cool,
Yes.
thank you.
3D printed firearms? Is that gonna?
Yes, yes, you can take, we'll take those as well. It won't be as significant of a gift card.
Would there be limits on how many one? could
Yeah,
print?
there'd be a limit on that. CBD will determine that. Yeah.
Does the organization ever conduct classes regarding how to store firearms, or do you all do that?
No, but I like that idea.
Mhm,
I really do, especially with the gun boxes.
mhm.
The Lock Save Lives initiative with
Okay.
CPH. And actually they'll be there as well. We'll be giving out gun boxes and gun locks to the people that still may have guns in the home.
Uh-huh.
So that'll be happening as well, but I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me know how I can help.
we do.
Yeah,
I'll be giving you
let
a
me know
call.
how I can help.
What do you mean like private bidders or what, like people were like in front of you in line, like offering more than your gift card for the gun or something?
Yeah, so unfortunately in Ohio, you can do that, you can set up shop. And you can pretty much, ask, so there's no law preventing them from doing that. We strongly discourage it. And we're gonna try to make it impossible for it not to happen, but it's probably gonna happen. But like, again, I like to see them try because, I mean, the amount of money that we're offering for them, like, you might as well stay in line,
Yeah.
so it's worth it.
Okay.
But
And-
thanks for having me,
Yeah.
thank you for allowing me to do that. Feel free to give me a call, or email,
Found it on the website.
sweet, and then contact me if you have any questions. And we'll be, in her absence, I'm gonna try to make it out. I may not be able to make it out the next month, but I definitely you can reach me. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other announcements?
Are you sure?
Yes, but you can come to the audience, yes, we'll get the commissioner later.
Try to keep it super quick. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to meeting room 1. Sorry, we're in this tiny space tonight. Thanks for accommodating. I hope the wall's fixed by next month. I'm sure it will. I'm Mike Alcock. I'm the community support leader here at the Hilltop branch of the library. Just a couple of programming announcements and also a staffing update for Hilltop. So we're back to school, and so all of our back to school programming has restarted. So school help, reading buddies, we have age-specific programs for teens and tweens. We have a youth services flyer that runs down everything that we're doing here. Also a lot of 0 to 5 programming opportunities for story time, and things like that. We're also hosting an after-school experience open house to give people a better idea of what each of those programs look like if they want to learn more. Meet some of the staff who facilitate them. So that's going to be Saturday, September the 21st from 1 to 3 p.m. And I sent out a few emails to community partners about hosting a resource table at that event. It'll be here at the library. So GHAC, I think you're included on that. So if you guys are connected with other organizations and you'd like to be a part of that, reach out to me. If nothing else, we'd love to have information about what you're doing so that we can feature that on that Saturday. I've got a flyer that has all of the after-school open houses that are happening across the city at all of our branch libraries. If you know folks across Columbus who might want to attend one of these at their local library. And then the staffing update, just super quickly, for anyone who knows, Kim Clifford, our now former youth services manager, just retired after 37 years with the library. Yes.
Congratulations.
Miss her a lot already, but we have hired a new youth services manager. So Kayla Glad, HLAD, is going to be coming over here from the main library, and she starts in about 2 weeks. So if you're interested in connecting with the person who is leading all of our youth services initiatives, that's going to be Kayla very soon.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I almost forgot, when I was at a Bike Plus event last week, which I'll speak on in a moment. Park and Recreation Department was there and they currently have a survey open. So James, I don't know if you have more information on this later, but quote, "We want to hear from all community members to help shape the future of Columbus Recreation and Parks Department." There's a QR code on this flyer, which I'll leave here. Flyers in Somali and in English. And you can also find them on the Columbus Park and Rec Department website. It's a short survey, just looking for initiatives and focus areas.
Thank you. Any questions regarding that? Or anything else? We're gonna move along. Next up is our presentations. First up for presentation is the Eagle Project. Paul Anderson, and it's Beautify Oakley Avenue.
So for.
Make sure it's on. The mic is on.
Okay, sure.
You're on. It's on. You're on.
Okay.
Is it the same presentation that you sent to me?
Slight
There's a few slight modifications.
I can put up what you sent, because
So, the original, presentation has changed quite a bit because, the property owner on Oakley Avenue has, decided not to come through with the project. So I have handed out, our most updated version to these committee members. And for those of you who don't know, I am Paul Anderson. I am a Boy Scout from Troop 117, that originates up in Dublin. And I'm currently working on the Eagle project. So,
So you're working on your Eagle Project?
Yes, I am.
Right.
we can move on to the next one. So there is a number of, I don't want to say poor, I'd say, just slightly lower income communities in Columbus that have become partially neglected and dilapidated. Unfortunately, some of these neighborhoods become quite unsightly and often perpetuate crime and decay. I believe that some of these communities are depressed because they've lost respect for themselves and they kind of lost hope in a better future. Therefore, my Eagle Project is designed to restore hope and joy to one of these communities. That part actually may change because I'm just trying to bring a little more positivity to the area. So this slide has actually been removed from the lead presentation. So that one. That one's wrong, sorry. So I'm gonna read off the new one. So for our project description, we will be painting a mural on a commercial building. The mural will be a positive message that can be seen from the main road. And by doing this, we hope to bring a little extra positivity to the area. And for our first potential location, we are looking at Avis Taste of the Caribbean. We've actually talked to Hilltop Arts Collective, and they've helped us identify a few locations that may be willing to have a mural put up. And then our other potential location is 500 South Richardson Avenue. This is a privately owned property, and it's not actually on the presentation. Sorry about that. So we would like to cover up part of a just plain brick wall that doesn't exactly have a lot of pizzazz, let's say. We just want to bring a mural that exemplifies strong family role models and encourages youth to work towards a better future. And the one up there is a very early proposed design. A lot of the stuff will be removed. And we have another proposed idea on the handouts that I've given up. There's just so we will also be partnering with a local artist. He's worked here a couple times. He owns a landscaping business and he does painting all as well. So he will be helping us paint the mural and just ignore the little bit that says "and the house" at the end. So for materials and supplies, we just need some basic things like pressure washer, tarps, gloves, paintbrushes, paint rollers, scaffolds, and food. Next one. For permits and permissions, I will need a nonprofit benefactor to act as the point of contact with my troop to sign off on the project. The Hilltop Arts Collective has started to agree to do this, or they have agreed to do this. I also need permission from the building owners to paint murals on the walls. And this is actually more of a question for the committee is, I don't believe I need any permits to paint these murals, but I'd like to ask if I do. And I'd also like to ask for letter of recommendation in doing this project. So we have a few basic project phases, which is gather permissions and gather volunteers, buying supplies, pressure washing, and cleaning, priming the buildings, painting. There's a few pieces in there that have been cut in the more updated one. And then we have to paint the mural. We'll have a little probably celebration with all the volunteers and anyone who decides to come out. Then I'll have to document the project and submit the final report. And we do have a proposed timeline. So this was the old version again. So I was planning to do permits and permissions the first 2 weeks of the month, and then work on site prep and pressure washing to get everything cleaned up. And then we would prime, give that a couple of days to dry, then paint. And there's also a few things in there that have been removed, like fixing the wall and fence, which. So in terms of logistics, I, with help of my parents, will be transporting supplies and materials, like paint and paintbrushes. And then I will also ask some of the troop leadership to use their pickup trucks to help transport any of the bigger items like the scaffold and the longer pole arms for the paint colors. And then everyone will be responsible, everyone attending will be responsible for their own transportation. They'll be responsible for coordinating that and getting there. And then just to address a few safety issues, there will be one of our friends who happens to be a police officer there, just because it may discourage any activities. Because I just want to be preventative, and I know the Boy Scouts have some pretty strict safety rules, so I'm doing everything I can to keep them safe. And then we also have fully stocked medical kit on site to address any cuts and scrapes or any other injuries. And then for final preparations, we need to get final design for the mural. We'd have to calculate total paint and primer costs, and then we would reach out to department stores to seek some donations or financial aid for all the supplies. And also on the last slide, my contact information is there if anyone needs to reach out to me or the troop. That is it. So I will be accepting questions and also. Actually, never mind. Sorry.
Are there any questions? I knew you would have a question.
So with the Polaris District, how did you decide on the Hilltop as the benefactor neighborhood for your Eagle Scout project?
So the artist that we are planning to work with has done a lot, so it's quite a bit of work here. They've done a lot of landscaping here, so they know the area. Some people might be familiar with them. And also, we thought it's relatively close to our home. So we thought it would be a good area to come to.
You got another one?
You mentioned, you haven't quite figured out where you're gonna be doing the project at. And you said having items donated from local businesses. How much, have you done, X feet by X feet, how much, is gonna require X amount of paint? If you can't get it donated, that could be a very expensive cost. Scaffolding rental, this could be a very pricey thing, and I've seen a lot of scouts. 2,000 is really kind of the max for fundraising. And I know scouts, we have to be careful with how we use that term, for Eagle projects. So kind of what is your plan around, do you have a financial plan in place to be able to purchase the materials that you aren't able to get donated?
So we do have a general idea. So we've already been in contact with Lowe's and Home Depot, and they said they would be willing to offer some donations and financial aid in the form of discounts. So we won't be pushing high amounts of money, like $3,000, $4,000. And we're looking, I'm not exactly sure how big the wall is for this one. I haven't done that because this is a very recent development. Because the property owner just cancel it on us yesterday, so. When you say that, do you mean it's the Oakley? This is the Site. Oakley one, yes,
Cancel.
yes, the house on it specifically.
Kind of goes with my.
I wanted to make sure he was
Oh, yeah.
finished.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you finished? Go ahead.
One of the proposed locations was on the side of Ava's, and if you were working with Hilltop Arts Collective, they would know more than I would, but I live close to there and there's paint going up on that wall.
Oh, really?
Yes, like there was yellow and blue paint on that wall, like it looked like they were starting some sort of mural.
Yeah, because we reached out to Mrs. Holiday from the Hilltop Arts Council and she said. They've done paint murals there already and said they might be open to another mural. And they also gave us another idea of a spot.
Yeah, and that one's not definitive, right? I was on the Hilltop Arts Collective board.
Right.
So yeah, so I was there when they put the mural up on the other side, right? And so you haven't spoken with Miss Ava yet, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay,
We were planning to do that soon within the week.
okay.
Yeah, might be worth it to drive by tonight.
Yeah,
It
so
looks like we were.
We were actually planning on doing it, driving by tonight.
Mhm.
Something was up there.
Go ahead.
More of a comment. Go to Sherwin-Williams and speak with them if you haven't already. They donated all the paint for my project and were willing to give me many, many more gallons. So I called them multiple times and I need 5 more gallons. They said, not a problem. So this was years ago, but look at some places like that as well. Some local hardware stores, places like that are a little bit more willing to talk with scouts generally, a little more able to work with you than sometimes the bigger retailers. Sometimes they can give you great discounts, don't get me wrong, but just kind of an option for you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from commissioners regarding this? I have a couple myself. From Commissioner, yeah, oh.
Commissioner, no table.
Yes.
Well, this is more for Commissioner Bates, but have you talked to Commissioner Bates and would you be open to working with our local scout troop?
I would be open to
Yeah.
that.
Awesome.
I believe in the original proposal, I did mention that, but in my Scrabble to recreate it and get it all squared away, I may have accidentally deleted that. But that was part of my original plan to gather volunteers, I was hoping to work with the local scout troop.
Yeah, so I have a
We're on
couple
the
of questions.
troop 33 out of Parkview UMC, so that's.
Yeah, and any help with gathering volunteers too, feel free to send it to our volunteer work. I know a lot of our commissioners have done work on with the Hilltops Art Collective and murals and creating their murals across Hilltop. So I definitely think this is a great project.
The questions that I have is, your collaboration with people on the Hilltop, right? I think it's gonna be really, really important, and this is Victoria speaking, and again, I was on the Hilltop Arts Collective too, they're a good resource. But working with, to the point that's already been made, local Boy Scout troops here, and make it a collaborative effort. And I know it's your ego project, but that may be something, good as well. And then, CPD on the Hilltop.
Okay.
Yeah. And then regarding your zoning questions, I'll leave that for our zoning chair. I think I know, but I won't overstep, just because I've helped with murals before, but. So those are some really important, and then to get the community, the Hilltop community involved and ask them kind of what they want as opposed to just giving,
Yeah,
telling
so
them.
that's kind of what I was planning on.
Okay.
I was gonna come up with a few proposed ideas for a mural that's like similar to stuff that we've seen around the Hilltop area already. And then I would probably go door to door in that area and just ask them, would this be okay with you to go up here? Is this an acceptable message? Just make sure the community isn't upset by the mural.
Yeah. Is there a civic, what's the, locations again? What's that you have, do you have anything secured yet?
We do not have a specific
Okay.
location already set in stone.
Okay.
The 500 South Richardson is just the current, where that said it was a private residence, or is that also not?
I believe that is a private residence.
Is that still on the table as a possibility?
That is.
500 South Richardson is? Okay.
What's your like hard
Then I
deadline
think
too?
it's,
One minute.
Well,
You have another
I think
question?
it's within Highland West, yeah.
I'd say
Okay,
our
fine.
deadline is before snow starts falling, before it gets too cold to work, because I'd like to get it done this year. Okay. As my sophomore year, as high school, it's gonna be a lot more busy. Okay.
So here was my point, here was my point. If it's in a neighborhood that has a civic, I would encourage you highly to interact with the civic association, and I believe, according to,
Depending on your location, it's either gonna be the Highland West Civic Association or the North Hilltop Neighborhood Association. And Paul, I have your email address, and so I can send this to you.
yeah,
Good.
so I would start there. First.
I have one quick thing as well. If it is a private residence and not a public building, be very careful within your paperwork that you write up for council on how you write that up to make sure it still qualifies.
Yep.
And make sure you get approval through there first.
Yeah, so what I would, if it does end up being a private residence, I would go through the Hilltop Arts Collective as our go-between, and they would act as the representative for the beneficiary. And I would have, personal meetings with the person, we'll try to get character, judgments.
Yeah.
To make sure the property is safe for it.
Yeah, it's one of those things within the council, within the paperwork for Eagle Scouts, I would hate for you to do the whole project. Have big better, and then have council and the higher up say, sorry, no, because to just be cautious with them.
Yeah.
Andrew, you had a question? You're good? Was there any other questions? From commissioners? Any for the audience? Yes.
Not a question, just a comment. Highly recommend if you don't already know about ModCon Living. I would recommend you reach out to them. They have a tool library. So a lot of the tools that you would need for painting, like roller, frames.
Sprayers.
Yeah, scaffolding, a lot of that, they will have it available to you for, I think, $30 will get you a 30-day membership, and you can check out all of those tools.
Just as one extra plug there, I am a ModCon member. I think it's $50 a year, and I have saved thousands of supplies.
Are they open again?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Okay,
Yeah, they're-
good.
Hilltop Arts Collective also can scout.
Yeah, so, but I would recommend to you is to get your approvals first, talk to the residents, right? Especially to the civics, and, get their buy-in and tell them what you're planning and those type of things first. And then move along, with your plans. Are your parents here?
Yes, there.
Stand up and introduce yourselves.
We're Susan and Tom Manning. We are Susan and Tom Manning. We are Paul's parents. And our idea behind this whole project was we don't need another park bench in Dublin. We don't need another garden bed anywhere else. There's enough influx of money in those areas. We want to be in the whole Columbus community. And so we selected Hilltop because we think it could use some beautification. And the artist, he personally works for us and we've known him for over a year. And he wants to do a powerful family encouragement mural where a father figure and a mother figure are guiding and leading, and it just sends a very positive message to the kids in this community to give them hope to they can be Eagle Scouts one day and have a brighter future if you wish.
Yeah, and Jose, the artist, also has had a difficult situation with his dad and his brothers and so forth. So he understands like the difficulty of not having family around. So that's why we want to kind of create some sort of a positive message. I also have been in the real estate business and flipping properties for 20 years. And I've done some properties around the Hilltop, Franklinton and so forth. And that was also kind of part of our thing about what we kind of fix up, some properties or a neighborhood. Of course, we're limited by what the Boy Scouts will let you do, because there can't be any personal benefit to anybody. So that's why we've been shifted to just commercial buildings. But even still, there's a benefit to that building. So then we got to get community buy-in in order to, get the approvals that we need.
Yeah. Any other thank you, both. Any other questions or comments from commissioners? I will say, and this is just part of my mantra, is to make sure you talk to the residents, right? And don't assume anything, right? Know that we have all type of populations on the hilltop. We're the most diverse, so everybody isn't, single family or any of those type of things. And so we have some rich history on the hilltop. So make sure you talk to the residents.
Yep,
I
we've done
can't
a lot
say
of
it a
door
lot.
knocking before.
I'm sorry?
We've done a lot of door knocking before, so.
Yeah, but continue to do that, right? Because then you can't get everyone.
Right.
So that's all I'm saying. And in different sets of people, right? Forums, all that stuff.
I had one thing to that too. I'll say, by working on murals on the west side, I've worked on 2, which is not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but people come up to you and they talk to you, so also be prepared to have conversations. Every single time we painted, we basically had to have someone that was just around to talk with folks of what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And other things, all really great conversations, but people want to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. So just be open to those conversations as well.
Talk to the residents.
Oh,
Yes, yes. Talk to the groups, the civics, all that stuff. That's just my advice for you. Okay. Anything else? Do you have anything else you want to share? Okay.
When were you looking to have a letter, or do you have anything put together of that you're looking to have approval from us now? Or were you thinking of coming back once you had a bit more concrete information? What were your plans around that?
So I was more so looking for recommendation as in, hey, we acknowledge this guy's working on an Eagle project. We think it's a good project or something along those lines, just to kind of help go with the flow or get through the flow of approvals a little bit easier.
Yeah. I would say, then this is just for me, we'll treat this like we treat everything else. And once you've gotten the approval, those type of things and talk to residents, then we can, vote on, whether there will be a letter written, just a little bit more. I would like to see a little bit more information myself, as the chair. And so maybe you can come back, or you could just email me. We could have a virtual thing or something. Okay. Yeah, a little bit more concrete, because we don't have do we have all the locations? Have you secured those?
So no location is set in stone yet. We still have to meet with the people. Because as I said, it's a bit more of a recent development. We originally had a different property in mind.
Yeah.
But so I am gonna still have to meet with these people.
Okay.
I think of our tacit approval, it's just that I'd like to see definitely these locations and this mural. Or some kind of approximation what the mural would be before we'd be yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'd be happy to lend you some equipment. I have ladders, a pressure washer and stuff that I'd be happy to lend you.
Yeah, and the collaborations with Hilltop residents, right? The
Exactly.
Boy Scouts here, and that would be a great Eagle project.
And also just invite normal residents to come out and volunteer.
Right,
So
but collaborate with the scouts over here too. Yeah. Okay. Anything else, commissioners, that you'd like to see? Mama, Daddy, y'all write that down for him? Yeah.
I just want you to know, he's only 14, so. He's 14 and he's this year, so we're very proud of him.
He is, he's doing a good job, so, okay.
I've had plenty of embarrassing staging.
Okay,
Well, if you get now, you can just start stacking up your palms and everything. So.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then I'll give
That's
you
all
my
I did.
information if he needs more.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
I love the collaboration, so we were gonna look and seek for that, but It's great that the gentleman is here, so we can get some context.
Yeah, and then, we just check the addresses and see what civics and then recommend. Oh, recommend that. I know, yeah, that's like really, really bright.
My eyes are off.
So then, we're done, I think. But make sure you get, so that we can make sure we get all the things next time he comes back and can talk about the things that we're asking about.
We appreciate all
Yeah.
your assistance.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good luck. Yeah, you're welcome. Keep up the good work.
Meet you soon.
Yeah.
So Paul was born in the Virgin Islands, so we know diversified, populations and communities. I know people from all over the world, all walks of life, we've got it, so we're very familiar with that.
Thank you. Okay. Where are we at? That's presentation. Next presentation.
So actually, it's me, not Rebecca.
Oh,
Marion. Is
and
that
that what
okay?
was in the email?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, did I
Yeah.
read that wrong? Okay, no, come,
May I
come
have
right,
a microphone though? Cause I.
right, come right ahead.
It-
Is there one
and
over
Jenny-
there?
It tends to not.
Here you
I don't use my. Here. Oh, there we go. Okay, I promise this won't take long. I don't know, Josh, are you able to open the attachment in that link that I sent out this afternoon with the? It's in the Google Drive folder. There's a one labeled attachment B, I think. And it's essentially. I love you. Ladies and gentlemen, just an aside, Josh Mannix has been our savior as far as our audio visual like presentation ability is concerned. And I live for him. Anyway, so my name is Jenny Kepler and I'm a member of the commission, obviously. And last week, I happened to attend a community meeting about Linkus and CODA that the Highland West Civic Association put on. And while I was there, a dear lady named Dr. Marion Lupo passed out an invite for an informational meeting regarding historical landmarks within the Hilltop and Franklinton areas. So being a Hilltop historian, of course I was gonna go. And what I learned there has to do with the Link Us project. I've passed these first two pages out to the commissioners just so they can get an overview of them. I have a few printed the community folks can share. Here's my board.
Oh, okay.
It's nothing, it's not super special. Oh, don't mix me up. Okay, here we go. So basically, the deal is. And this, I wanna say up front and very clearly, nobody is making any sort of alarmist, oh my God, this is absolutely happening, sort of statement. This is just part of the process for any sort of big project that comes through our neighborhoods, right? Link Us is receiving federal funds for the bus rapid transit project. When you receive federal funds for a major project that impacts communities like the bus rapid transit will, that triggers what is called a 106 historical review. And in this, in the submission that the Linkus folks delivered to the Ohio Historical Preservation Office at Ohio History Connection, they attached maps of affected, or they call them APEs. They call them areas potentially affected. And so, Josh, if you'd scroll down a bit, I forget which slide off the top of my head. Specifically, and there's a few that specifically impact the Hilltop. Let's see. Oh, daggone, in I had rotated those to stay and I guess they didn't stick. Along Broad Street, we have multiple areas that they have designated as areas of potential effect. And that includes, Westgate and Broad. Oh, where's that? Is that,
No, keep on going down. The,
keep on going down low.
the map in the far right corner shows you where the stop is.
Oh, does it? You're so good.
It's like highlighted.
I didn't even notice that.
Where are you looking for specifically?
I'm looking for, well, the one that screams out at me is Eldon and Broad.
Your church.
But notice if you slow it down a little bit, see on this previous slide where the thick red outline is. Okay, there are spots like that around areas of the hilltop like Hague and Broad, Whitethorn and Broad, Eureka and Broad, and Westgate and Broad. The one at Hague and Broad includes West Broad Elementary, St. John's Lutheran, Evangelical Lutheran Church. At the Eldon and Broad or Eureka and Broad quadrant, that includes the White House there on Broad Street between Eureka and Eldon. That includes GHAC. But at any rate, areas potentially affected does not necessarily mean that it's definitely, they're going to definitely demolish anything. It's just that they could be affected in some way, shape, or form. And so to be proactive about this, Marion Lupo and Rebecca Hunley have created a group called Community Improvement 614 to get a jump on doing the 106 historical review of our potential historical landmarks. We haven't had one done in a really long time. And it's important to kind of inventory what we have. We're working on both West Broad Street and Sullivan Avenue from between Franklinton all the way out to Prairie Township. Our next meeting is on September 26th at 6 o'clock at the Mount Carmel Healthy Living Center at 777 West State Street. That's part of the Mount Carmel complex that's still is still over there since the demolition. At the next meeting, I'm going to be leading home or building history research a workshop for everyone so they can learn how to research these properties. It is open to anyone to attend, anybody who is willing to potentially volunteer for this. But the goal is to document and take inventory of the historical value of our structures along Broad and Sullivan. Right now, predominantly Broad, but also Sullivan Avenue. I don't know if, for a lot of you folks who may have moved here more recently, the Hilltop and Franklinton both have lost massive landmarks, like a massive number of landmarks in the last, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And so we're running low really on on what few historical buildings we have left in the main thoroughfares. I've worked in this stuff on my own. I've worked in local history for 15 years. My mom was a local historian. She worked on preserving buildings back then. There's nothing that guarantees that these structures will last forever. But at the very least, even if something ends up being demolished, at least we can document it properly and perhaps put historical markers in their place or something else. So does anybody, I hope that, did I make sense? Did I sound like a crazy lady? Okay. Anybody have any questions for me?
Is there a map like this for Sullivan? Or is it?
No, because Sullivan, well, this is directly from Linkus. Linkus obviously isn't on Sullivan yet, so they haven't made a map for that yet. And the reason why Sullivan is included is because with zoning, with the different zoning changes coming and like the different changes to like the parking requirements, or they do have historical protections supposedly in the new code. But it's just good to know what we're dealing with, like just to get ahead of it. Again, this isn't like I posted about this in my Facebook group last night, and one of my own friends whom I love dearly was like doubling down in the comments, like, there are no plans right now to get rid of these, and it's like, I'm not saying that they're planning to get rid of any of our landmarks. I'm saying that we're documenting them right now, and in the event that the project ends up approaching that subject. I mean, the circles on these maps, they go clear around many of these properties. Not just, it's not just like they highlighted Broad Street, they're talking about the depth well into that intersection. So anywho, I would love to see people come out and volunteer, and I would love to show you how to do the research. It'll be fun. It's fascinating work. It's like being a treasure hunter. I totally invite all of you to come. And the Hilltop and Franklinton have incredible history that has been left buried for, ever. So this is a good way to get to start cracking into that. Any other questions? Joe had one.
Yeah, do you, Marianne, does anyone else, from community or area groups already have a list of buildings?
Why, yes. I want to say that one of the files in the link that I sent you, and I'm going to post this link later to the commission website so that you can see what's in there. You already did? And this is why I love Josh. And Josh has already added it to the commission page. I think the list is in there. If not, I have Marion and Rebecca have sent out an Excel spreadsheet with the list of structures. I also have a Google Drive folder started with research that I've already been working on, because I have a compulsive habit and compulsive need to look this stuff up myself. Already started, and I'll share that as well. And it's publicly, it's not all just for my own pleasure and enjoyment. This is public info. Our history belongs to the community, so. And that's it for me. Oh, and Hannah, did you have something?
I did. Have you decided whether you want it to work with like Briggs or West High School? It could be part of their history. Correct, maybe extra credit or something that the students can get.
Oh, that's amazing. That's an amazing suggestion.
I'm saying, because we would be.
Sure.
Anytime you interact with those kids, right?
Well, I'll definitely suggest it to Rebecca and Marion. That's an awesome suggestion. Thank you for that.
From a Briggs High School graduate. Good job.
Or even.
Good job. Yeah, you're from the middle school.
That's it for me.
Okay, any questions from the community now? Okay. Great, moving, thank you. Moving, right along to reports of officers. And my goal was to get out of here by 8:15.
I'm sorry.
That, you're fine, not just you, no. I mean, we all ask questions, right? Always gotta have a goal, or we'll be here till 9:30. Well, we can't be here till 9:30 at night, but yeah. So reports of officers, I'll say mine very quick. Of course, Vice Chair Fagan's not here, so there will not be a report from him, of course, but we'll have the secretary and then the treasurer go. My report simply is just wanted to let everyone know that we did give a letter of support. James and I was on a virtual call for Wrexham Parks. And then if you want to add something afterwards, I'm just going to read you the letter that was given that I signed for that. They gave us a very thorough overview of what they were asking for. And so this was the City of Columbus Wrexham Parks. And the letter reads, letter of support, Whitethorn Woods Preservation Project. You guys know what Whitethorn Woods is? We have so much stuff over here.
Where is it?
Yeah, it's behind that Kroger's, right, James?
Yes.
It's behind the Kroger's on Egan and, yeah, and Harrisburg Pike.
It's a preserve?
Yeah,
where-
no, it's not a preserve. So let me read the letter and then you may know, you may get it and then James can add in. So on behalf of the Greater Hilltop Area Commission, I'm writing this letter in support of the City of Columbus Recreation and Parks Department for Clean Ohio Conservation Funds to acquire Whitethorn Woods, a significant natural area in the Hilltop community, of which none currently exists. Whitethorn Woods is a 43 acre, it's 43 acres, property that is the largest remaining forest in our community. Hilltop is one of the largest communities in Columbus with well over 68,000 residents. Having a significant nature preserve in this area would be a huge benefit for our residents, including wildlife habitation restoration. Natural trails, paths, as well as a thorough and well-researched history, speaking of history, that provides land acknowledgement of indigenous people and the rich history that is the Hilltop. We discussed with the city how important it will be to research the cultural history of this large property, including indigenous peoples, and all the valuable stories that this land can tell us about the history and the natural heritage of Hilltop. We look forward to working with them in developing a trailhead and a walking trail with interpretive signage and experience that many who live in the Hilltop have never had the opportunity to enjoy. We will also work with the Recreation and Parks as they engage with our community on how to best develop access to the property and begin management of large green space. It has many opportunities to provide our residents of the Greater Hilltop area with many experiences such as nature programming and guided walks. Further, opportunities can provide Hilltop youth with volunteer conservation projects and internship experiences, just to name a few. All great benefits for the residents of the Hilltop. Blah, 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 blah. So we're asking them to do all that, right? It's important, I can't stress it enough, in my opinion, to do that. So thanks to James for being a part of this too. And so the award for the grant is going to be announced in November. So I'm crossing our fingers that that happens, because if that happens, then all the stuff we put in the letter happens. Okay, but James is great, asset to that as the chair of our Recreations and Parks Committee. You got anything to add?
If the city does acquire this property, this would put our combined Hilltop total of acreage in the city of Department of Public or Parks and Recreation over 500. So we would have over 500 acres of park and reserve land in the Hilltop. And then speaking with the department, they said that this would become part of one of their nature preserves. The city, I think, believe has like 24, 25. So this would be the first one south of 17th Street in the city of Columbus. And that would also, again, future plans to make Glenwood lower level 26 on that list. So this is a good step in the right direction for the department to actually turn online a resource that's kind of lacking in the Hilltop when it comes to a restoration or a nature preserve here in our community. Definitely, again, south of 17th Street, there aren't any. Thankfully, the current property owner has been very diligent about keeping it a preserve. I wasn't aware of his long efforts that he's been doing that. He previously bought it from a developer. His name's DeVos, Dave DeVos. Is our current House representative. DeVos. So again, crossing our fingers that the city gets this grant. Again, they spoke to the actual efforts of cleaning the site up, getting the trash out of there, and actually making it useful for the community instead of it just being a non-active site. There are limitations on what the city can do when it's a nature preserve. They can't put in a rec center. They can't do sports fields or playgrounds. It has to be very minimalistic, boardwalks, walking paths, very just low impact to the actual site itself.
Can you describe exactly where it is again? I'm sorry.
It's right behind, Kroger.
On
Everybody recognizes it from Eakin because there used to be a drive-in where people would dump trash, but it's from Eakin all the way up to the end of, Whitehead. And this is actually gonna surround, a couple of homes. So again, it goes from Eakin and it'll go all the way up to just past, I think, right at it. So it's gonna be from down here all the way up to here.
Yeah.
So this
43.
whole section along the rail line, the rep also discussed that there are plans that Grove City is working on to try to activate that rail line with like a path along it. So again, future hopes that there's a second Camp Chase bike trail.
They're gonna
along
put that,
that
they're
route.
gonna, so I'm excited because this is pretty significant, right? So hopefully they get the grant. And then they institute, you know, all the things we asked for in that list, as long as letter are written as a chair of the Greater Hilltop Commission. But I wanted to make sure that all the things that we brought up in our meeting with them would be included in that. And so we'll know in November, hopefully, whether they won the grant or not, and that, of course, it's gonna take some years, right? But how wonderful is it to think of a preserve over here on the hilltop? I think it's amazing, and that it would be community-based and that there will be students there and youth and all these things, that can happen. So that's all I got for that. I'm trying to move along. Any questions? Any other questions?
How long is the commitment to not develop? Like, are they locked in that they can never develop once they get this designation?
What do
Or
you
could
mean
they,
develop?
could the
Like
city
housing?
sell it to a private developer?
No,
Uh-uh.
they cannot. Once it's designated as
It's a
a preservation, it's no longer available. They essentially put in like a 100-some+ year deed restriction. That's what it is. It's deed restricted for.
I just wanted to make sure because I know properties in Grove City that was the selling point, was that they backed up to a preserve and their property values went through the roof, which was good for them. And I hope it is good for them. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. All right, so, again, just quickly, the informational form about the election, the levies, it's just gonna be about the levies and the things on the ballot. It's gonna happen on October the 10th from 5:30 to 7:30. And it's not gonna be, this is why you should vote for it or not vote for it, is all informational. So residents will exactly know and be able to ask, and the residents are gonna ask questions, right? So it'll be open forum. They'll have to write them down and be able to ask questions specifically. You know, what does this millage mean? What does this, those kind of questions, so they'll be informed. So that's gonna happen October the 10th. Here at the library. It'll be at the library. The date is already have the room. So that will happen. So let's make sure everybody gets here and you get the word out so that our residents understand how it's gonna affect their taxes. Because we know that's a big thing right
How
now.
many organizations are on the are having levies?
I don't know. So the League of Women Voters is helping us again. A great organization, and so they're doing all that work. I just said, hey, we want to do this. They said, okay, let's do it. And then don't forget to go in and research this information about the study that's going to affect children, particularly in populations like ours, who are victims of violence, right? Shootings, hit by cars that need blood, transfusions, things like that. So make sure that information, if you're in other organizations, please make sure they know about that. Give them a flyer so that they can read up on it, because it's already done. FDA approved, and they do not have to have parent permission. That's the big thing. To, have their kids at Nationwide Children's Hospital that comes in an emergency room. They don't have to ask. Okay. And that's all I have. So next is our secretary.
No updates at this time.
No updates. Treasurer?
We got about $3,420 left in our budget to spend, that hasn't been encumbered yet.
That's all I got.
Okay. That's a lot.
And I'll send all you a report too, that's more detailed.
On that note, I have a really quick question. James sent that link for the t-shirts and such. Are we supposed to be picking something out, or is it just for us to order ourselves?
Did you get my email? So we have partnered with a city approved vendor. The website is online and you can go in there now and buy any of those personally and use personal funds. We did allocate money for each commissioner. We were just waiting on the city of Columbus to send the billing information over to the vendor so we can get promo codes.
Gotcha.
So, okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I know our chair wants a shirt, so.
I wanted her.
So we're gonna wait until we get promo codes, because I almost just.
Yeah, and then if anybody wants anything not listed on the website, I have a book of other stuff that you can request to have the logo put on, if you want to pay for that yourself.
Mhm. Okay. So it's in everyone's email.
Yes, and I can resend it because I also have a list of other items that, because the vendor sent me at least 4 from like each different thing that I asked for. I am gonna eventually make a motion in the future to order minimum 20 like reflective vests so that we have those with our logos on them for when we're doing door to door knocking, litter cleanup and things like that, just so that they're readily available. And it's universal, so like we can actually just keep reusing them
Okay.
instead of just t-shirts, but that's a future ask.
Yeah.
Please spend that money.
Yeah.
Especially before December.
And-
Yeah.
And then policies and procedures about how to turn them in and what to do with them and where they're at, all those things would be good too. So next zoning,
I need the microphone.
yeah, there's one right over there too, I think. I think it's still one over there. So bright. Feels bright, doesn't it? Should I put it down?
Okay, we've got 2 applications and I might only have 1 applicant here. Are you Mr. Yuzi? Great. And I don't have anyone for South Wayne Avenue, correct?
Esteban?
Or you, yeah.
I'm here.
Oh,
For him, yeah, I'm second.
Okay. Well, I will start with Mr. Yazid. This first application is 2194 and 2202 Beacon. This is a request to rezone from an R2 to a C4. And when we discussed at the committee meeting, the plan here is basically to either do an auto repair or a car dealership. They don't have any formal plans yet. This is just a request to rezone. So there's no requirement that they do anything specific with it in the process of rezoning, but Mr. Yazid, did you, I can give you the microphone and you can add anything to that you like.
Yes, so for now, like, we don't have, like, for sure what to do, that's why we tried to apply for C4, like commercial, to have more option. Or later maybe, but what we're planning now is, dealership, since we already have a dealership. Then,
Yeah, just hold it closer.
yeah, so we do have a dealership business, so we try to move it in here. That's what we try to do for now.
Where is your current dealership?
It's in Sullivan Avenue.
Yeah, that's.
1400, Sullivan Avenue, so the corner of Sullivan and the Sullivan.
Okay. So you might move that business to the location.
Yes, if you get the approval.
Yeah.
Where is this again? Ekin what? What's the corner?
This is the reserve that we were just talking about.
Yeah, but it's Ekin what?
White on, white,
Yeah, it's just this corner, it's 2 parcels. And if you look across the street, it's business across the street as well. I think there's another auto repair there or another car lot.
Yeah, but it's near Kroger and then there's a condos right after the Royal.
Kroger is right here.
Yeah, so, okay.
It's like that.
Yeah, across the street, I think there is a tire shop or something like that.
Yeah, there's a tire shop right there
I
too.
believe so.
It's Bondo, it's Bondo.
Yeah, yeah, that's over this way.
I mean, all the development on the road, you can know they're all like commercial. That's why it seems like it's better to do commercial you know, that's what I believe so. It's like a high traffic road, so.
Right.
Does the potential of that becoming a preserve concern you from that perspective? They may have some EPA issues with fluids and such that may seep over?
No, so we're not gonna do like, well, like, it's not like an oil change or like, we're not gonna have a lot of waste or something, just like car sales. At the most will be like maybe inspecting the car like we ran in, but we're not gonna do like major repairs in there. So we're not gonna do like this. We try to make something clean, sell the cars.
So as far as, and maybe Victoria can answer this, but as far as the preserve, if that's land that's owned by Dave Dobos, then that wouldn't be included in the preserve, correct?
I'm not sure, I don't think so, if it's, they don't own the land,
I mean, this person owns these two parcels.
yeah.
So. Yeah, the tree line all the way to the railroad tracks is going to be the preserve and then back.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, it's not gonna be those, those two.
did you have a question, James?
Yeah, what address is your current shop?
1394. It's 1400 Sullivan Avenue. Yeah, right at the corner.
This,
The opposite?
is it this one or?
No,
The other one?
Oh,
across the street, yeah. No.
And so what's gonna happen with that, if we can ask that? I don't know.
So I don't own that one, it's just rented, so I'm just.
Oh, okay.
you remember. So at committee, we did support this rezoning, especially because, you know, like we said, there's nothing firm tied to it as far as what it's gonna be used for. You know, they have plans for it, but we can't technically consider that when deciding whether to just rezone it. So that's all I had to add to that. Are there other questions?
Yes, Chair, I'm just looking to see, you might know this right off the top. What are the other properties? Are those also all commercial zoned?
Which other?
Like there's looks like a car dealership across the street. I assume is probably is commercial or.
I'm not looking at the map right now, but yeah, they would have to be commercial.
Which one? Across the street?
Yeah, across.
Yeah, so I believe they're all commercial super, so I went through all of them.
Yeah. That's, it's all the same. No.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, it's commercial.
It is uncommercial. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was just trying to.
Seeing nothing else, I would make a motion to approve the request to rezone from R2 to C4.
Second.
All right,
Okay.
and this is. Okay, we'll start the roll. I'll start with co-chair Lenny. How do you vote?
I mean, yes.
And then starting with Commissioner Dallas. Four,
I'm gonna abstain.
okay. Hepburn,
Yes.
White,
No.
Bates.
Yes.
Abstain.
Striker. Jerry Spray.
I'm gonna abstain.
Dr. Glenn.
I feel kind of, I would say no, because down the street is my mom's. So I'm just thinking, God, you know, you got neighbors right there. I don't know how they feel about it, so it'd be good to know like what their thoughts is. You know, the house is there, and then I want to talk to my mom. That's where I'm at right now, sorry.
We are in the middle of a vote. Is it permissible for me to ask another question? Or should I wait until?
We'd have to buy it in.
I gotta finish.
Commissioner.
don't know about.
Maddox.
Yes.
Stan Smith. Same. I am a no currently. And
I'm gonna also say no.
also no. Okay, in favor is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Opposed are 1, 2, 3, 4, and abstain are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I've read it.
Okay, sorry.
That was the first one.
Sorry.
Just because I don't have a table.
So that's a pass by one vote, and
In favor was 5, opposed is 4, and abstain is 5. We have 14 total today.
they're still down. Yeah. Because people, okay, so passes by one vote, so I will, have your form to you within the next couple of days by email. And then they will give you, they'll notify you when your next meeting is gonna be that you have to appear at.
Thank you.
Get it to you within a couple of days. Thank you. And then we have one more, which is 675 South Wayne Avenue. And what did you say your name is? My name is Paula. Paula? Yeah. So this is an empty lot, at Wayne and Safford. They are requesting variances for, the lot size. And I'll read the details in a second here, but for the lot size, for the minimum parking spots, and for the rear yard percentage. So typically a lot size has to be 50 feet, this is 40 feet. That's just the existing condition. For minimum parking spots, per the code, each unit would be required to have 2 off-street spaces. There's gonna be 3 units built, so that would be 6 spaces. But they are proposing to have 3 off-street spaces. That's correct. Yes, ma'am. And then the rear yard percentage, the code requires 25%. This will be 16.73%. I did send the links to the zoning applications. I think there is there's kind of an updated what do you call it, elevation that shows, what the front side is gonna look like and what the actual front part that will be on Wayne will look like. They're showing some updates from when they first submitted it to us, after the city made their comments. Because they wanted kind of scoops on the side that faces Safford, and an actual entryway on the side that faces Wayne. So they're showing that on the new elevations. And then Paul, I'll let you explain anything else that you want to. Yeah, of course.
Thank you. I didn't know you guys were gonna have that on the screen. If not, I wouldn't have printed off so many copies. Yes, so the 3 variances that we were looking for is that 50-foot going down to a 40-foot. There are multiple lots around the area that are between 30 and 40. That is just kind of what we're looking for. We're trying to build something affordable that'll help with the housing crisis. So something of good quality that is also going to be at an affordable price. That is why we want to build a 3-plex instead of a duplex so that we can create some more opportunity for 2-bedroom dwellings. That is also the reason that we were looking to lower the actual parking spots down to 3 instead of 6. 1 per each one of the units. I know it's not ideal, but we're trying to do what we can with the lot that we have. And then the rear yard percentage. Right now we are at that 16.3%. The reason is because we brought back
we have a 21 setback, sorry, to fall in line with the neighbor's house. Dang, is that still working? Yeah, it is. Sorry about that. So that was kind of the reason why we're going to have a little less, backyard space. So at the committee meeting, I think our primary concern was just the look of the building, because most of the houses on this street and one or two to the side are two-story, single family. And so having this one story is not exactly in line with what it looks like in the community. They did explain that to dig a foundation and to make it two-story makes it much more expensive, which is kind of what we've heard from a lot of other developers in the neighborhood when they're looking for one story. So they did also kind of, I think, explain that they're gonna kind of break up the side of the building with different paint colors to make it look more like 3 separate units instead of one long monochrome building. So that was kind of something that we found helpful. You have anything else you want to add to that? Nick, anything else you remember? Okay. And I apologize because my notes from our committee meeting are not opening on my phone, so I couldn't look at the detail. But that was our main concern. The parking, you know, there is street parking nearby, which can be utilized in addition to the 3 spaces that will be off street. And like I said to the applicant at our committee meeting, this is just an ugly lot that I go by all the time. I will be happy to just see it developed into something useful. Are there questions?
I have. Go ahead.
Would there be any issues with the city possibly taking back some of that grass for sidewalks with the amendment we would make to what's expected for the yard size? Would that make it even further shortened?
I think the city is requiring that you put in a sidewalk on this side, correct?
I am not 100% sure. Sorry, I'm stepping in for Esty because we had a family emergency, so I'm not 100% sure, but I can ask.
Josh, could you go back to the?
I believe there's a name there, the city's requiring a sidewalk.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna have a
And-
door over there. But I'm having little ones, right?
Yeah.
So they'll look outside.
Yeah, so they're requiring that to put in a sidewalk.
Got it.
Yeah.
So 16.3 or whatever is after that.
Got it.
Who else had a question?
So, sticking with this picture, the neighbors currently do it, but are you guys gonna allow parking up in here? It's a very common theme on some of the side streets, since you're only gonna have 3 in the back. But are you going to allow tenants to park in between the 2 sidewalks? So the front of the home, the new sidewalk you're gonna put in on Stafford, because the neighbors currently do it. I don't think it's the most aesthetically pleasing thing, but I mean, with the restrictions in the area for parking, it's very
I don't
common.
believe that having it right in between that paved sidewalk in the front of kind of the entrances is something that would be ideal to the builder.
I'm not saying move it, but would you allow tenants to park there? Because it seems like some tenants kind of take the liberty and freedom of
Yeah.
doing it. If there's nothing stopping me, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
So like with those neighbors.
I would have to say no, I don't think that it would be the most. Just, it's not gonna look the greatest.
Yeah.
And the idea is to uphold also the community and make sure, you know, people that are driving by, look at it. Also enjoy what they're saying. That actually brings up another point. I know you guys mentioned and Esteban kind of talked about it a little bit to me about the siding and breaking it up a little bit.
Yeah.
We only found one issue with that, and it is because the facade of the actual structure is going to be flat. Breaking it up in between that siding might not be the most aesthetically pleasing to the eye. So I know the builder has already added kind of shutters and things to make it look more of a home and more integrated into the community. So we can definitely, if it's something that you guys are set on, having different colors, I mean, we can definitely look at that. But we just don't know how good it would look, as an executed project.
So I had a parking question. I live in Wayne, South,
Okay,
not far from there.
that's great, which, I've got a few properties in South.
Yeah, so to that point, right? First, the parking.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have in your, because you're gonna lease, rent that out, correct? So are you gonna have in your lease agreement, where they can park?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And then how they park, because I know that homeowners, what you showed over there was, you know, folks, or what's on there is that there are folks that park on their land, on their property. And I've been a long time resident over there too. But you're not gonna allow that for your residents, correct? Okay. And then regarding the demarcation, like the different colors,
Yeah.
to me, that does not sound nice, I'm just saying. And so that's just me though, as a Wayne Avenue resident, right? Because I don't see that there, right? It's not necessarily that, but especially if it's gonna be a hindrance, right? I'd rather it look nice. So those were my questions and my comments, regarding that.
Josh?
I just make a comment real quick. All of this parking here, if you allowed anybody to park between that, that's a code violation. So all of this is illegal. You cannot park your car on your own property if it's not paved parking. You cannot park on gravel. You cannot park on gravel. So just throwing that out there, it's an annoyance sometimes because that's the reason our trash pickup is in the front now instead of the alley. It's one of the many things that happen there. So just, you cannot park. This is all illegal. This should all be code violations, whole thing. So I like it. Thank you.
So there's practice and there's code.
Yeah.
Okay, so just saying that, yeah, if we're, you know, following the law, that is correct, but.
Do you guys manage all of your own properties or do you have a separate?
Yeah,
property management?
we manage all of our own properties.
Gotcha.
Yep. So,
And have you spoken with any of the neighbors in the immediate, you know, lots? What are their opinions of?
you know, I personally have not, I know that, so we actually already own a few properties on that street. So we haven't found too much pushback. I think that, again, how I mentioned a little while ago, we do have an affordable housing crisis right now in Columbus and just throughout the whole USA. So finding good ways to be part of the solution instead of kind of part of the problem. That's why we propose doing a triplex instead of a duplex and just finding more options to keep cost low while still giving a quality product.
Is there one last question, because we need to get out of here too, for me anyway. Is there a number of individuals that can live in those?
Yeah, so technically, I believe the law is 2 per bedroom,
Yeah.
so or maximum. So that would be what the lease would stipulate.
And if someone were to move more folks in there, is that, if you
Yep.
manage the property, you would monitor that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
That's actually grounds for eviction.
okay.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I will move to approve, these 3 variances, the lot size, the minimum parking spots, and the rear yard percentage.
Second.
I think I heard change.
We can wrestle for it.
Yeah, as long as they're thumb or hand
We need
wrestle.
to add something in our bylaws about that, discussion about them.
Really, about thumb wrestling?
What do you pull lots or how do you, yeah,
Oh, wow.
thumb wrestling is an option.
I could just beat it.
Pull
I mean,
that.
I'm.
Oh, that's pretty easy. It's kind of cool.
You good?
Okay. We'll start with Chair Winning.
And yes.
Yes.
Okay. Moore,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Bates,
Yes.
Stricker,
Yes.
Trivia Spry,
Yes.
Clint, Cuccinell,
Yeah.
Maddox.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Archer is a yes, and Tim.
Yes.
Okay, it's 14 in favor.
Okay, our next zoning meeting is going to be the 17th at 6 p.m. here in the library. We have 2 applications. One is 132 Huron, it's a variance for a larger garage. And the other is 1970 West Broad Street, which is for a ground sign. It's a graphic variance for a sign to contain 7 tenants. So 9/17, 6 p.m.
Thank you.
And I will get your form to you within a couple days by email.
Oh, so I don't need to go through this right now?
No, I have it electronic.
All right, perfect.
But thank you.
Sounds great.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Community relations?
Okay, so, we talked about, we'll talk about this in the new business, I need to order some new stuff. Goody, goody, thank you. Alright, so we need to talk about ordering some stuff, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We do have a table event on Thursday, September 19th. From 4:30 to 7:30 at Eakin Elementary, it's a Rise Up Columbus or Rise Up C-Bus event. If you're able to work that, reach out to myself or Ashley. And also, we're invited to set up a table on Saturday, the 21st from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Hilltop Library as well. So if you have availability for that, let us know. Next meeting will be September 24th, 7 p.m. at Best Side Design on West.
Government and legislation.
So we had 4 petitions turned in for this year, so we will not be having an election. The 4 people who will be a commissioner for the next term was Josh Maddox. Carla Carr.
She was,
Brandon, I think Burkus.
Barkus.
Barkus. And then Terry Ruth. So all 4 of there's, like I said, no election this year, so the 4 that turned in petitions are the 4 that are going to be area commissioners. Please keep in mind that we will be bringing up the appointments in December and voting on those in January. So if you know anybody who doesn't live in the Hilltop but works here, serves, or is looking to serve the Greater Hilltop Area Commission, feel free to reach out to them, talk to them, and see if they're interested in being an area commissioner. We do have a bylaw change that we're going to try to push through, and that's just based on our meeting times. The bylaw says we're not supposed to be meeting before 7. Currently, we right now start at 6:30. So we just need to get that over to the city attorney's office. You know that those need to be approved by them now. So that'll be coming up in October.
Human services and education.
Sure. Okay, we did not meet in August due to commission recess and overlap with back to school events taking place that week. The next meeting will be Wednesday, September 18th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. here at the library. A very quick rundown of recent events, though, just because we didn't meet, we were still out there. And so I personally was at Ben's Elementary for back to school open house on Monday, August 19th. Attended a Linkus information session at Glenwood on Thursday, August 27th. Thank you to the commission, Highland West, and Linkus for providing that opportunity. I was also at the Mid Ohio Food Collective opening, which I know many of you also were on Tuesday, August 27th. There was a Bike Plus open house at Glenwood on August 28th, Wednesday, August 28th. I highly encourage people to check out the map and proposed plans going in for Bike Plus. Coming up will be the Highland West Civic Association Autumn Litter Cleanup on Saturday, September 21st. From 10 a.m. to noon, and that starts at 29 North Wheatland, which is the Highland West Gardens, very close to the Food Collective farm, so you can check both out at the same time. And we did actually still have some committee activity just submitting a follow-up letter, on potential school closures, after the vote last month. And there's other planning happening, so if you're interested in any of that, reach out to me directly or come to the next meeting, which again will be Wednesday, September 18th from 6 to 7:30 here.
Thank you. Liquor permit review?
Yes. If you would like to provide any feedback to the city, deadline is this Friday. If you go onto the website, there is under liquor permit committee, there is a link to the liquor license feedback form. And anything that is on that form, by Friday will be sent to the city as part of our feedback for, their liquor permitting renewal process.
Good. Planning and economic development?
Yeah, so, we discussed a land bank, meeting, which we'll likely have in November. We're still planning that out. And then, our sidewalks recommendation, we'll hopefully, discuss that a little more and vote at the, next upcoming full commission meeting. And then I just wanted to add some, project updates that I've got from, city officials, or city and I should say, and state officials. So the CDC fence, which is up here on Sullivan Avenue. I have some notes on that. The bid was just awarded to contractor, for a fence construction portion of the project, so they'll take the temporary fence down and put the new one up. There's waiting on approval from the state of Ohio controlling board. Should hopefully have completion date soon, and then a new fence will be installed this winter, hopefully. And then the Mound Street project, you may have seen some traffic cones going up. That project's to begin this month. Property owners will be notified, and on September 23rd, concrete work begins. And maintenance and traffic will be put in place, one travel lane each way. And then October 14th, paving operations will begin. This will take 1 to 2 weeks and will immediately be followed by striping and signage. And that's all I got. Next meeting is the 19th at 6 p.m.
Government and legislation, we will also be meeting in September, for the next 24th, right before community relations. But I did have a question about, city improvements. I noticed on Sullivan, they took out the very last concrete barrier right before you get on to 71, in front of the recovery house. So I didn't know if that was due to construction in the area, or if they've had enough cars to hit it, they removed it. So I don't know if that's something that, if you have a contact at the city,
Yeah,
you could reach out and ask.
yeah, for sure. And that's something I actually wanted to reach out about anyways, because at our last meeting, we were curious about that project, because we kept bringing that the intersection at Ryan and Sullivan up as like a very dangerous intersection, right? Because there were cars doing like 70 miles per hour crashing into each other at that intersection, like at least once a month, you know? Probably because of how the interstate used to be hooked up to Sullivan. So we were gonna talk about that anyways. I know there's a school bus that takes a left there and has a lot of trouble. I've almost been hit by it like twice personally. But yeah, I'll check that out for you. Let you know. Thanks.
Public safety?
No update. We didn't meet. Our next meeting is September 26th.
September 26th? Okay. What time and where?
Here, is the fourth Thursday of every month. Here at 7 or
Okay.
6:30, sorry.
At the library at 6:30. Okay. Last but not least, recreation and parks.
Yes, I want to give a big thanks to the chair for the letter of support for the nature preserve. I think it goes a long way with adding to the resources here in the Hilltop, and I really appreciate it. I think it really did encompass all of the topics that we brought up during the meeting. And I think it's something that we need to be talking about all of our parks in the Hilltop when it comes to signage. Actually honoring the people that were here before us and like putting that in the parks. That's not just a place that we go to escape some of the concrete that surrounds us every day. I think it's something that's very needed to visually learn and see how we've gotten here. With that, we are going to have a meeting This month is gonna be our last in the park meeting. We're gonna be doing two. We're gonna be starting at 9 AM at Burroughs. And then we're gonna be working our way over to Hiltonia. Again, this is gonna be a park audit and cleanup. These two parks have had new playground equipment installed within the last year. So we're doing a site assessment of those installations. The park audits from this year should be up on the website by the end of the month or in our Google Drive. October meeting, time and location will be TBA as we switch back to meeting in person at the library, potentially with human service and education. I am one meeting away from finishing the Master Rain Garden class. So I have to do my community project of either building a rain garden or volunteering for 15 hours. With my work on that, I hopefully am planning to implement some type of standard for the committee when it comes to all the new rain gardens here in the Hilltop. At Westgate alone, there are 6. If you haven't seen them, they are massive. They are really nice. And I will say that they're doing fairly well for how hot and dry it's been. They need a little love, but it's really nice to see those installed there in the Hilltop. And we will have a list of all of them, hopefully from Blueprint, from all the work they've done in reaching out to community members who've actually installed their own on their own property, just to get a good comprehensive map of where people can go to see them throughout the Hilltop. And with that, the only major things that were noted at the Westgate Park audit were sidewalk improvements that need done, and the pond definitely needs cleaned, drained and cleaned. So, if anybody has any questions or concerns about the parks in Hilltop, please let me know. Again, we will be meeting this month, September 21st, 9 AM at Burroughs, and then we're making our way over to Hiltonia.
Thank you. New business, unfinished business, there's none, thank goodness. New business, I'm gonna hand it over to, our, treasurer. Or whoever's gonna, who is this? The purchase of marketing materials.
We need to purchase market materials. Everybody agree?
Yes.
All right.
Well, we need more detail. We need more detail. Yeah, we do. We need more detail. Please, thank you, Ashley.
I think what we have requested is another 2,000 door hangers, a new tablecloth, potentially a black one because the white one stains, a new retractable sign because our other retractable sign broke, some stickers and magnets, so we have fun things to give away. And then the shirts for commissioners, which was mentioned previously, and then a gavel was requested by the chair. Do we need to pick quantities and up to amounts?
And storage totes.
Oh, and a storage tote,
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
For.
Oh, it's easy.
So for all of that, if you can just, rather than like itemize and say up to, for each, just say, what's the blanket amount?
I would say 1,500. I think, because I think the shirts for commissioners, we have $500 budgeted, and I think another 1,000 is probably plenty. Just to be on the safe side, unless anyone would like to.
A question about the door hangers, since we do have 3 new area commissioners, should we also include those on the new batches? And then if the old ones do not, if the commissioner is not returning in 2024, would not like to be on the new ones, should we remove them?
We can.
May I have your attention, please? The library will be closing in 15 minutes. Please use this time to check out materials, print, and save documents. Again, the library will be closing in 15 minutes.
Yeah, we could just do a one-sided where it just has the first meeting of the month and then like our website, and then, yeah, someone could write it on the. Cause yeah, we're using them as flyers too. So we could just do it without commissioner names. That's also gonna be cheaper. If it's a one-sided door hanger.
It works for me, I just know that. I don't know how quick we're gonna use them, and then I don't know how long they're gonna stay around, so if people are leaving and don't want their information to still be out there.
I have 3 canvases planned for the end of the year, so we can probably distribute 1,000 of them. If we get them.
Actually, like the idea of the blank on the back, because then you could use it for other things as well.
Yeah, as long as that's okay. So we'll still put the website, because that's gonna have the information. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
How much of this is in the current $3,420 budget?
there should. I don't have that right in front of me.
We also have about $843 that we didn't budget, that we still have left in Department of Neighborhoods budget.
What was in marketing?
Wasn't marketing. Well, we didn't necessarily have a marketing category, but we had like,
Yeah, t-shirts, I thought was 500, and then everything else was just.
yeah, so t-shirts 500.
With the promo code that James mentioned.
We could probably get rid of the $100 for the 2024 GHAC election. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we can make it work. I just want to know like how this is gonna be.
I will say the amount that's not for the t-shirts is what we have remaining that we need to spend by the end of the year. Cause that's like 800 some, right?
Well, we have 500. For remaining to the end of the, but,
So we need 1,000? I was okay.
well, so we.
So
we
I just want to
budgeted-
interrupt and say we got 10 minutes.
Yeah, you know what, would you, like, are you trying to vote on all this tonight or?
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna just vote up to the 15,
Yeah,
right?
But yeah, I don't think we're gonna spend all that amount.
Okay, well, we could vote on it, and then if we need to cancel anything we've already voted on, which there's a lot we could probably cancel, but we'll do that next week. Sound
That's
good?
fine, if you think that's,
Okay,
sorry, I didn't look up budget.
Oh, no, you're good, you're good.
yeah.
Just some nerdy stuff over here.
So you wanna,
I motion that we purchase,
Where's it being?
$1,500 worth of
I
marketing
think there's
material.
is there a question?
Where's it being?
City of Columbus.
Yeah.
The city, yeah.
Yeah,
And the city and the approved vendor list, because I think, yeah, we need the essentials, if we already have figured out for the t-shirts, the door hangers. We could probably still get through the city vendor. I don't know about the magnets and stickers.
Magnets and stickers, you can get that through.
Staples, okay, the signs, staples,
And a table.
What kind of signs?
like a
the
retractable
retractable
sign,
one.
staples and then a table.
Staples.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
I
so
think
let's,
most of it will be staples. And then a gavel.
yeah,
Which I'm guessing
It's-
is staples.
yeah, it's broke, by the way, that's why we need a new gavel.
What did you do?
I was at home,
You just sent it
after
to
every
over
meeting,
here.
yes, you can't repair that.
To the
City approved vendor.
Okay, so what's the motion?
Okay, motion to spend up to $1,500 for marketing materials, which includes door hangers, tablecloth, retractable signs, stickers, magnets, shirts for commissioners, and a gavel.
Second.
I heard Jenny this time.
We
You want to do roll call or we might just voice?
could just do a voice.
All in favor? Anyone opposed?
I'm abstaining.
Okay,
Only because of what Dean said, not because I'm really.
oh, they,
Sorry, didn't look at that.
oh, because he was asking about the,
He basically was just saying we might not technically have the money.
oh,
I don't think.
Well, I mean,
No.
we have right canceled, it's just a bad procedure.
I know.
That is.
yeah, you still
Sorry.
abstain.
Oh, it's okay.
That's why the beauty is, whenever we do our budgeting, if we can just put things in the highest bucket potentially possible, then we don't have to do this. We can just say, yeah, that's where we're gonna spend our money. And we can do that.
Operations.
Granted, I did have an $843 bucket for that, but not expecting 1,500.
So I'm gonna motion to adjourn. Okay, meeting adjourned.
I want to hear, I just asked, I
Yes.
was like, can I be on the agenda? Like, I mean, I was just like.
Oh, thank you.
No, we did.
Congratulations. Did you wanna go?